Today, we go in to compare the strategic bases and installations of Iran and Israel and see how they compare. We'll start with Iran. This is a big country, so it makes sense that they have a lot of bases. Many of them are for air defense. As you can see, there are some pretty mountainous areas in this country. So let's go ahead and click through these. You can see the main ones are Parchin, which is mainly an airbase, and Tehran, which has both air defenses and an airbase. Esfahan is an airbase as well. And then you have the cities of Tabriz, Shiraz, and Avaz, which are mainly air defense focused. These other ones are smaller bases or air defense installations. Now, what about Israel? Much smaller country. Obviously, the main base that they have is Tel Naf Air Base. This is their main operating base for their fighter aircraft. You can see it's surrounded by mountains, pretty much just like Iran's bases. And it's quite large. They also have another air base in the Negev desert, which is smaller. Now, Israel doesn't really feel threatened from the north, so they don't really have any bases up there. And they don't really have any bases along their western border because, well, that's the Mediterranean Sea. So you can kind of see why they don't really need bases there. Along the Gaza border, they do have some bases, but those are mainly used for troops and not so much air bases. And then you have the Golan Heights, where they have an air defense installation there. So, overall, Iran has a lot more bases and a lot more air bases than Israel does. But when you really think about it, Iran really only has 2 main air bases with a bunch of air defense installations surrounding the country. Israel, on the other hand, has 1 main air base with a couple smaller ones and a couple coastal defense bases. The main reason for this is that Israel is much smaller and doesn't really have any potential enemies that could threaten them from most of their borders. Iran, on the other hand, is a much bigger country and feels threatened from many of its neighbors, as well as maritime threats from the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz. So that's why they have so many bases. Also, you might notice that there aren't any Israeli bases in the video. That's because they're not really meant to be shown. For example, if you were to Google map Tel Nof Air Base, this is what you would see. Not exactly helpful, right? So that's why I didn't show any of the actual footage of the bases themselves. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video.